Now, Terry.
Talk to me, Dan.
You've been relatively good this season.
I have?
Yeah, by your sake. The West Tigers, you've been very positive. They're now officially last. The floor is yours. What do you think of the Tigers?
Hey everyone, welcome back to another episode of Rugby League Outlaws, brought to you by our good friends at Top Sport. Don't forget to like and subscribe. Dan, another weekend of footy has passed us.
Yep.
Before we get into the news and everything, I was at Brisbane Airport on Monday morning.
Yep.
I didn't go to the Sharks game.
Yeah, well.
But a Broncos fan, I didn't catch his name because I wasn't feeling real well, came up and told us that he loved the show. So
that's cool.
big shout out to you for coming up and being real positive. And I apologise for not feeling well, but
thank you, mate.
it's always nice to.
It is nice. Good to get some positive comments.
Especially in another state. And he was in to be fair, he was in his Broncos polo. I had my Sharks hat on, and he was
Are you
real
from
cool,
Outlaws? No, what's it to you? That's my general. But no, the legend. Thank you, mate. That's fantastic.
Real cool.
Made my weekend via you.
Yeah. Now, speaking of Brisbane, speaking of Origin, look, all I can say to start off with.
Terrible segue.
Yeah, I don't know why I tipped New South Wales.
I think it was a defence mechanism, wasn't it? That's why I tipped Queensland. Plus, I thought they win.
Yeah.
Right.
But the game itself has been marred from an incident that happened in the 7th minute of the game. And we know what we're talking about, the Joseph Swiley tackle. Now, we've had some shocking takes on this. Before we start, I'm going to ask you, as a true blue New South Wales fan for the night, send off or not?
Send off. If that happened to Nico Hines, I'm screaming murder. Gone.
Yeah. Now, I was into it with a few fans from other teams, and Newcastle fans are saying, okay, so if that happened to Kalen Ponga, you'd be okay. Yep. And some Penrith fans, if that happened to Nathan Cleary or Dylan Edwards, you'd be sweet. You'd be sweet with that tackle to happen. No, it was a send-off, 100%. Ashley Klein had no option but to send it off. And I think every replay that you saw, it just looked worse and worse. Now, I've seen some people turn around and say, but Reece Walsh is slipping. And that's fine. Reece Walsh is slipping. The onus is not on him to get knocked in the face, though. It's on Swiley.
It is.
And when you launch yourself off your feet, you take any control that you have in that tackle out of it, and that's why it was...
Risk went up.
Yeah, direct, forceful contact to the head.
Before you go into your takes, and there were some shockers, I saw... My personal thought was it's a send-off.
Yep.
People were saying, but it's Origin.
Yeah, that's what I don't like.
That annoys me. Okay, don't get me wrong. There was in the first set, there was Liam Martin ran through and hit Reece Walsh late off the kick.
Cool.
That's penalty every day of the week. They let it go.
Not in
that
Origin,
is an Origin thing. You cannot decapitate a bloke and go, yeah, but it's Origin.
Yeah.
Over to you, Terry.
Right, so some of the things that we have seen are he should have just been ejected and they're down to 16 men. Why? Why should he was ejected?
He was.
But why should you bring someone? Why should we be able to bring someone on the bench to replace that?
Well, yeah.
The other take that we saw was he sent off a 10-minute sin bin, and then you can activate your 18th man and make it 13 on 13, but you're down a player again. Why?
I don't know. People. Okay, I'm going to solve this whole thing in one comment.
But here's the thing. Here's Queensland then just go and say, okay, Josh Papali'i, you're retiring at the end of the year, right? Cool. It's game 3. The series is tied at 1-1. You're going to start and you're going to hurt Nathan Cleary or Nico Hines or the best playmaker in the first set of the game.
Yep.
Just go and snot him.
Yep, destroy him.
Elbow, straight elbow to the face. Get yourself sent off. Because in 10 minutes' time, we'll activate someone.
Exactly right. You activate a better player. Our good mate Barge made a good point before I delivered my line. And said that Jack Hetherington's going to be the most capped player of all time. He go out and kill some bloke in the first minute. City's 10 minutes out. You can see the try. Who cares? They've lost Reece Walsh. You bring a better player on. If that tackle, Terry, happens in the 77th minute, no one's saying anything.
Nope.
It's the fact that it was early. And I heard some ridiculous suggestions. You got to do this, you got to do that. You got to not take a bloke's head off in the first 7 minutes. Suaalii went with intent to hurt. Now, not for 1 second do I believe he targeted the head.
No.
He was trying to whack Walsh. Good on him. He was trying to hit him late and with the shoulder, though.
I think the intention from Swaliti was to let Reece Walsh know that if he came down that side of the field, he was going to get hit. Yeah. He was always going to hit him late, and he was just trying to smash him.
Yeah.
He got it wrong.
He was going for Simbin if that gets him in the chest.
Now, I've seen people turn around and say Ashley Klein ruined the State of Origin by sending him off. No, do you know who ruined the State of Origin?
Who?
Swaliti.
Yes.
He ruined the Origin.
Yes.
Oh, but we paid hundreds of thousands of dollars to fly down and have accommodation and watch the game, and it's over within 7 minutes. Don't blame Ashley Klein.
No, don't.
Blame Swaliti.
Suoli gets paid, what, 50 grand for 7 minutes? He should divvy that up to the fans he upset.
Yeah.
Now, I say that in jest, and he did come out and he said, oh, look, I let people down. Young player, I'm not willing to crucify him because it was an error. But his Origin career is done unless he comes back, and he's got no one to blame but himself. And that's just the cold hard facts.
Now, he released a 12-minute vlog on his Origin debut that lasted longer than his Origin debut.
Mate.
Look, in all seriousness, outside of that, I thought Queensland were tremendous.
Queensland were great. New South Wales sucked. As it is every year.
The thing for New South Wales, though, is they didn't give up. They didn't give up.
No, they didn't.
They still scored some tries. They still, put in... They were just shredded by faster, more experienced, hungrier players. And that's all it came down to. Look, game 2 in Melbourne, it's a new game. You got to go down there and you got to pick a better team.
You definitely pick a better team. But moving on.
Now, Josh Aloiai. O'Shea Ole.
Big favourite on the couch.
Is he the stupidest player in the NRL?
Yes, but...
Okay.
The NRL has said that tripping's okay. I put a tweet out that was a little bit tongue-in-cheek, but also a little bit serious, that Aloiai should have been sent off and it should be an 8-week ban. Mm-hmm. And the first reply was, that would be 8 more weeks than the last 10 charges are put together. Thank you for making my point. Mm-hmm. The NRL over the past 6 to 8 or 10 weeks, however long it's been, have said tripping's okay. We've seen players run out of the line and trip blokes that were going to score and not be sin bin and not sat down for weeks. Aloiai just saw a player that was running past, just kicked him, and he didn't get sin binned. He's going to serve 2 weeks, evidently, probably because he's got a long list of previous offences. But what, can you blame him? He saved a try and he thought, I'll just kick him. Now, for me, that is way worse than any trip we've seen, because at least you can say, he wrong-footed me. He just kicked the bloke. You do that on the weekend football, you're sitting down.
Not only
I was shocked.
You do that in weekend football, you're getting punched in the face.
You're getting punched in the face. Now, they didn't know, I didn't see it until the bunker went back and they put him on report. I'm like, why is he on report? And they said a trip. Well, I don't remember a trip. There wasn't a trip. That was a strike. If they'd sent him off for that, I'd have been absolutely okay with it.
The best part about it as well were Manly fans trying to defend and say, what are you going to send off Oxygen? He kicked him.
He kicked him. And he stopped the try.
Because I was watching it, and I was watching the big screen in a bar in Queensland, and you see Dane Laurie go down, and my first thought was the way that he looked back was very reminiscent of when Kevin Durant tore his Achilles, and he was running, and he just looked back as if someone had kicked him. And I thought, Jesus, Dane Laurie's done his Achilles. Then he gets up and he gives Aloiai an absolute spray. And I thought, okay, right, let's see there. And then you just see him kick him. Just straight up kick him. Yeah, so it's not a trip, it's a kick.
No, it's a kick. And someone goes, it was a brain snap. It was more silly than anything. It was dumb.
Yeah.
It was straight out dumb, and it was a grub act. And I have
try, but
it did, but that's the thing.
Should have been in the bin.
But the NRL's got no one to blame but themselves. Yeah. They've said this is okay. He's taking advantage. You give him 8 weeks, I guarantee you no one does it. They'll give him 2. Give it 3 weeks, it'll happen again. We don't need that crap in our game.
Speaking of crap in our game.
Ooh, nice.
Forward passes. We saw an absolute shocker in the Melbourne-Newcastle game. Tyron Wisher scored off a pass that Pat Mahomes would have been really proud of throwing in a Super Bowl. Now, producer Dids has asked, should the bunker be able to rule on a forward pass? I'm going to say no. Mm-hmm. Because of camera angles, right? Some camera angles will show a forward pass, and some angles will make it look like it's forward, others will not. But
I'm glad you said that. Yep.
In the Super League, they have they will introduce a technology next year similar to the goal line technology, where there will be something in a ball and moving lasers up and down the field.
Yep.
Moving motions, and it's apparently going to be able to detect whether the ball goes backwards or forwards out of the hands. So they're going to trial it in the Super League. I think that's something that we definitely need to keep an eye on.
We desperately need if it works.
Yeah.
I disagree with the obvious ones. Now,
look, the obvious ones.
But you look at that and you're like, okay, you cannot give that a try. There was something that happened in Origin where Coates sort of knocked the ball on and sort of flicked it, and it went about 7 metres forward. And Cam Smith, who's the greatest football mind of all time, goes, he's past that. Maybe he did, but it went 7 metres forward, Cam. You got to come up with a reason not to give that. I hate this. Ball floats or is thrown 7 metres forward, and they go, you can't rule on that. You can rule on that. You can't rule on it. Geez, that looked forward, but now we got no things. If it goes 10 metres forward, Terry, I don't care what you got to do. Make up a rule on the spot. Knock on.
I've got a great example for you. Now, you got to go back, and this is I don't know how, this is the first thing that came to my mind, right? But Cronulla versus Manly in the year 2020, up in Gosford during COVID. Sione Katoa makes a break and throws a pass 3 metres forward, and Jesse Ramian scored. And the video referee intervened and said Katoa was actually knocked on. But he just passed it forward. Yeah. But because as the ball came out of his hand, it hit his forearm, they said he knocked it on.
That's the loophole. I am really... okay, so...
You can rule it though. You can just rule it an offside. Because you're in front.
This drives me crazy because you can watch 50 angles and get it's knocked on, it's travelled forward. Well, how can you tell? The cameras aren't in line. But you can't rule on a forward pass. I also want to put this in the argument, Terry. They've got a million camera angles and can't get anything else right. Why's forward passes got to be different?
Yeah, look, that's true as well. The other thing as well is you have 2 touch judges.
Yeah, well, do you?
Well,
technically,
I don't know, because some of the touch judging decisions on the weekend were absolutely clueless. I would really like this technology. I pray that it works. As I said, it's very similar to the goal line technology. If the ball goes past the line and the referee doesn't see it, his watch will go off. So it's going to be very similar to that. I'm not sure how they're going to have the motions going up and down the field, but the Super League reckon they're going to get it done. 2025, we're going to have technology in the Super League, and if it's a success for the first couple of weeks, the NRL need to fast track it.
Yes.
Now, Brandon Smith.
Yes.
Is he the second dumbest player in the NRL?
It's right up there.
Missed a mid-season review that the Roosters did after the loss to the Cowboys, in which he had an indifferent game.
That's putting it nicely.
Now, said he was out with his family and didn't realise it was on.
Yep. Which in itself isn't a huge catastrophe.
Isn't a huge catastrophe.
But when you add it to 38 other small catastrophes, you get a big one.
Yeah. Now, there are lots of rumours swirling around Brandon Smith at the moment, so let's not touch on that.
No, it's rumours.
What exactly are the Roosters going to be able to do about a player missing a meeting? Because looking at that, on a scale of things that we've seen in years gone by, I think you'd have a pretty good grounds if they tried to sack him to take them to the
it's way down on the atrocity scale. But when you're looking at a bloke who's had 5 or 6 of these little things add up, and, to be fair, there were signs before they signed him, so it's not like they can say, where'd this come from? But he's not bought into the culture for mine. He's playing okay.
He kind of has bought into the culture.
Well, you hear about the Roosters culture, this and that, and okay, we make our jokes and it's rooted in truth.
Yeah.
He hasn't bought in.
Yeah.
I don't want to say, look, I'm a big fan of the Chiefs. I like him. I like the character he is. But you got Connor, who's playing, Watson, who's playing a lot better. And I mean, the Roosters are pretty good at finding reasons to get rid of players that aren't performing well and are overpaid. Coincidence? But,
Yeah, look, this is a guy who sat on a podcast contracted to the Melbourne Storm and said, I looked at that Roosters jersey and just thought, I see myself winning a premiership there. Yeah. When the minute that film clip came out, Melbourne should have sacked him and the Roosters should have gone, hang on a minute.
Whoops. Again, I like the Chiefs. But
I've never been drawn to him personally. I don't have a personal... I'm indifferent on him.
I saw a really good comment that said that he's obviously more into podcasting than he is in playing football. Probably earns about the same amount of money too. Maybe you should, go.
He's going to have a great media career.
He's a very likeable dude. Because a lot of people have done what he's done, and people have gone, oh no, but they seem to be like, the cheese. It's just him being the cheese.
Yeah,
that's a ridiculous nickname now that I say it out loud. But he's made it work.
Yeah. Look, I don't know. He seems to be like one of them guys where rugby league is just his job, but he's got a favourite pastime, a la you and I.
Yeah, good on him, I suppose, but not ideal.
Yeah, not ideal.
Speaking of not ideal, Terry, I'm going to throw this to you, and I'm going to go off chops here.
He's 18.
Lachlan Galvin, of 8 NRL games, 2 of them where he played well before he got suspended and hasn't been the same place since, has supposedly come out and said, I want to release. Well, now, he hasn't.
It's not supposedly. Shane Richardson has confirmed.
Took the words right out of my mouth. There are a lot of West Tigers fans saying, where's the proof? And their CEO goes, he's asked and we've said we'll talk to him, and no is the answer. And Richardson, to his credit, has come out and said that anyone that talks to him, we're going to take up with anti-tampering rules, as you should. This is a bloke who's played around 8 games. I'm not going to check because it's funny to say.
Well, it's his rookie year,
He's played okay. With the greatest of respects, probably wouldn't have made a debut anywhere else other than where he's playing right now. Maybe the Titans with the injury crisis. And it's come out and making some pretty big comments for a bloke who hasn't really earned it. Now, I've had people in my comments, because I was like, I hate this, come out and say, what's he got to do? He's young, but he's got to play 10 games for a start. Tongue in cheek, but that's how silly it is. Moses, his agent, I'm on record as saying that player agents are the worst thing about rugby league.
That's why I love Luke Lewis, man. Just did it all himself.
As you should. Yeah, people have gone, Moses is in his ear. Now, we don't know. That's what people have said. Maybe he is, maybe he isn't. But Lachlan Galvin's evidently been playing through a hand injury and hasn't been 100% fit. As you will probably realise as he matures, and I hope he does, no player come finals time is 100% fit. And if you are, you haven't played hard enough. You have niggles, you have injuries, you're sore, you're mentally drained, you're exhausted.
I mean,
this is what
Nathan
rugby
Cleary
league is about.
Literally won a premiership and then had surgery 3 days later.
Yeah, it's what the top level of football is about. Now, I've seen people come out and they look like burners, but I'm not going to go that far. They look like burners. Just this and that, and they suck, and he's a young player, and this and that. If I'm another team and I'm looking at Galvin, I'm thinking,
what have
you've
you
been
done?
Okay, but would you bring a player on who the first time it got difficult, he's gone, I want to release? What other team does he make? Because I saw Penrith fans come out and say, we got Jack Cole, we wouldn't take Galvin.
Yeah, I think the thinking behind going to Penrith is this kid just reminds me of Wade Graham.
Yep.
So left edge back rower, and not the left edge back rower who goes and makes you 150 metres and breaks all the tackles, but the creative, extra outlet kicking, those kinds of things, or off the bench in the number 15 as Wade Graham eventually transitioned to before he went into the back row, right? Look, he's a handy player, and
we don't know. He's 8 games into his career.
He had a couple of games where he's a big, strong runner. I don't think he scored a try yet, and I've got him in my draft team as the 5'8". I don't know if he's got a try assist.
He tore Cronulla up, although they all did.
No, he didn't. Appy did.
Yeah, well, he was there when they tore him up. I'm an unashamed fan of Lachlan Galvin. I like what I saw, and I don't
watch enough Tigers games.
I'm on record as saying I love Buller and Appy, and I think that Aloiai coming in will make Galvin a better player. What I saw on the weekend, though, I'd be saying, okay, we got to get behind this Fainu kid as our 5'8" or halfback, because Galvin's only going to use this to get out of here, is how I read it. You put him to lock, or you put him on the back row, or you move him to the bench. If I was the Tigers, I'd say, you go play for West for 4 weeks, rest your hand up, and then you got 4 weeks. Think about whether this is for you, because, mate, it's going to get worse before it gets better at the Tigers. And if you go elsewhere, as soon as he loses a game, you're going to go, actually, Penrith aren't that good anymore. Brisbane look good, I'm going to go there. Just know. And if you're watching, sack your agent. Please, I beg of you.
The other thing is, I wouldn't, personally, if it was me, I wouldn't have an agent. I ain't going to give someone 5 or 10% of my big contract for doing nothing.
Well, it says it all right there, doesn't it? Terry.
Talk to me, Dan.
Time to talk some black, white and blue.
Oh, look, this week it's actually nice to Get back in the winner's circle.
It certainly is. It was a long 2 weeks. I got used to winning. I got the finer things in life. I do enjoy them.
Yeah.
What a win it was, too, up in Brizzy. And wait, before we go into it, Fins Up Podcast, check for a full rundown.
Yes.
But we'll do a little bit of the... let's do a rundown here. It was so good.
Yeah, look, first half, I know we've got a friend in a Sharks group chat who just... Everything's a little negative. But, look, the first half against the Broncos, I actually didn't think it was so bad.
We're okay.
They scored a try off a pass that was really held. Like, Will Penasini got held.
Yeah.
Got called held right near the sideline. Jordan Ricky was upright for a long time, not moving anywhere.
He was.
Penasini was being pushed and being called held. Off that offload, obviously, Tony Staggs makes 25 metres, quick play the ball, they score. And then they come down and put a kick in. Trindle juggles the ball, they score from it. So they actually didn't score a soft try.
Yeah.
They didn't do to us what Parramatta did and continuously shed somewhere that was an obvious weakness.
Yep, that's fair.
I thought defensively in the first half, we scrambled. We got back to that grittiness. We got back to the line speed. We got back to the good kick chase.
Yep.
And all the things that had made us successful in that 7-game winning streak that we didn't do, or I mean, we weren't able to do anything against Penrith, let's be honest, but we didn't do any of
That's
this stuff
the aberration.
against Parramatta. The second half, we did exactly the same thing.
Yeah.
We just got lucky this time.
Yeah, we did. There were a couple of... It was almost flawless second half.
Yeah.
Not in terms of 100% and we dominated and we played down their end, which we did to a little bit, but just the effort to go down there and do what we did.
I mean,
continuously.
You have to have a look at half-time. We had 54% possession and more cracks at their line. Both teams defended really well. As I said, we got lucky on our 5th tackle try.
Yep.
Because we ran the ball. Braden Trindle offload to Cam, who swings it out. Great soft hands by Will Kennedy. And as I said, they scored their tries off a pass which I believe was held.
The kick. Yeah.
So, and that's not the first time those kicks have got it. Penrith got one, honest I believe, and I believe Parramatta may have got one.
Yeah, it happens.
It happens, right?
And my frustration at half time was that we weren't up. Well, we should have been.
Yeah, we were the better team in the first half.
We had so much ball in their line.
As it is to say.
And the amount of stupid crash plays, and then Jack Williams trying to play the ball too quick, and the mistakes are starting to add up a little bit for Jack, and I'm not worried yet because he made a mistake and ran out, hit a bloke for Sierra. I was like, sweet, it's all good, it's forgotten. Last week against Parramatta, we do that and they score. We give away, Blake Brayley again had an absolute nightmare first half where he gave away penalties and 6 against, but they didn't score. So Pete, you go, oh no, it's okay, game on. Errors don't mean as much when you don't concede points, and they're quickly forgotten. And that's the long and short of it. If you make an error and they go down and score, that sticks in your mind, rightly or wrongly, and I think it's rightly, for a long, long time. So big shout out to them. For me, their forward pack was rolling ours until Royce Hunt went out there and said, not today, young men. And they look like young men. And we're talking Pat Carrigan, Payne Haas.
He hit Pat Carrigan with a shot.
He rattled him.
And Carrigan, took 2 breaths on the ground and then got up.
Yeah, Royce Hunt I actually had him as my man of the match. I don't think I've had an impactful 25 minutes like that across the season.
I was when Parrigan took those 2 deep breaths, I was like, God, Royce Hunt's going to get penalised for something as he clocked him high. And the replay showed that it was just a great shot in the ribs.
It's a beautiful shot.
I thought it was huge from Royce Hunt. Had he been on for 40 minutes, he was definitely my man of the match.
I think he turned it. I mean, I'm not the player you picked.
I will say this we say it when the other teams have a big forward like Canberra with Tarpany, the Warriors with Fanua Blake. We won't see the Titans with Tino this year, but the Broncos with Haas. If you can win the minutes when they're off the field and you're close to them when they're on the field, let me give you a statistic for this. Payne Haas minutes. What do you think the score was?
About 10-all.
12-4.
Yep.
The halftime score.
Yeah, there you go.
Payne Haas off the field, we win the game 18-0.
Yeah, well, that's fair.
We say it on every podcast. if you can keep yourself close and win the minutes they're off the field, you're there or thereabouts. Sifa Aloiai, man. I thought that guy was incredible.
Early on, it took 9.5 minutes for him to have his first run, and he ran 17 metres. Broke 2 tackles. His second run, he ran about 20 metres. Third time run, he scored. He went, within 5 minutes, he had 3 runs. He had 40 metres, 3 tackle breaks, a line break, and a try. And I'm like, why has he only had 1 run? Can we get him the ball? And then when he did, everyone's quick to go, oh, they fixed that. I was like, yeah, because I yelled it. I'm taking complete and total responsibility for this. But everyone could see that Aloiai was going to kill their right edge, and then he just continued to roll them all night long. It's like, I don't know whether it just took him time to get into the game, which, you know, it's forgivable, seeing he's been playing different positions, or they just didn't realise he was out there.
Now, I will say this again. Our same friend in our group chat tonight said, why aren't we attacking their left edge? I said, because Selwyn Cobbo is a really good defender, and Pia Cora has been incredible on that edge this year. And then Katoa stepped Cobbo out of his boots and Trindle threw the worst dummy I've ever seen, and Pia Cora fell for it. So it's kind of like, oh, well, you know, a little bit of egg on my
Maybe we should go left.
Maybe we should go left a little bit more often. But no, look, all in all, a good win now.
Great win.
We've mentioned one name, Braden Trindle. Dan Atkinson.
Yep.
Nico Hines is back for the Finns game. The reason Nico didn't play is, again, the calf injury. He was in Sydney after the Origin game. You don't, if someone's got a niggling muscle injury, you don't fly him.
Yep.
So he stayed in Sydney. He'll be back for the Finns game, nice and rested. Trindle's back in the team. Atkinson has been a steady player in Trindle's absence. Who are you picking as the 6?
Trindle. Undisputedly. But,
no shadow of a doubt.
They were rolling when the two were firing, which is it. And you saw Trindle took complete control the other night. For good and bad, there were some negative moments, but overall I thought he was pretty darn good. His kicking game is tremendous. His defence is pretty good. Look, last week was his first week back. You're going to get your shockers out of it.
You get errors with Trindle that you don't get with Atkinson, and that's mainly because Atkinson is a ball runner. So he doesn't take the chances that Trindle does.
Atkinson's done exceptionally well.
Oh, man, I've got no complaints about Atkinson. And likewise, if one of these, you know, teams down the bottom of the competition looked at him for either a 5'8" or fullback spot, I wouldn't begrudge him, because I think he's
earned that.
I think he's shown that he's a very good player, but
I think he'll be 18th man this week.
Trindle has been sensational.
He's been great.
He turned the game. He can't goal kick.
No, he can't. It's got to be Nico or anyone
Atkinson
else.
went down to Melbourne and slotted a shot from the touchline, which had he missed, we lose the game. Just put him back on kicking. If he's going to be
one or the other.
Yeah.
No, look, both. The fact we're asking this question is good, but I think it's pretty clear that it's Trindle.
It is. Now, the future of one player is set to be up in the air. Royce Hunt has got a contract with the Cronulla Sharks until the end of 2025.
Yep.
It's unclear whether Cronulla want to extend him any longer. He'll be 30 by the time his contract's up. South Sydney said to be offering his agent a multi-year deal should he be able to get out of his contract early with Cronulla. Now, his last couple of weeks, I thought he was sensational against the Eels.
Yep.
And he was absolutely brilliant in his cameo against the Broncos. I don't release Royce Hunt.
No, me neither. But look, Cronulla have said that he can look around for 2026. And that means, because a lot of confusion's come out of this, he can't technically talk to anyone to the end of November, which makes it difficult. Whereas if someone can come in now and say, look, we got 2026, let's do it, we'll push 2025 later. That's why Cronulla have done that.
Well, I think you're going to get the Connor Tracy situation where he signs with the Bulldogs and
that's
then you get the
exactly
release.
what they're going to do. We'll take a young
to South Sydney, give us one of your young players.
Which I think's the right move from Cronulla, because we don't have to.
Duncan will look good.
Exactly right, if you can get him. But Hunt for me is such a tremendous player. And I've got him higher than Kaufusi, who would be the player I would walk away.
I've got this year. I've got him higher than Kaufusi, higher than Rudolph, and higher than Braden Hammanuelli this year.
Undisputedly, but next season you've got Huge Tukes.
Yep. He's above Huge Tukes.
Yeah, but you've got Ueli, and you've got so many middle forwards who can all play the same role as Royce Hunt. You can't have 4 of them on the bench.
No, you can't.
So one of them's going to have to make way. Kaufusi's a bigger name player, a bigger minute player, He's a starter. He's defensively better.
I mean, Kafus is technically off contract as well. We haven't picked up the option, neither's he.
One or the other are going to move, and I think it'll be Hunt just because we've got a lot of players that are very close. But just before we move on, with Huge Tukes, he tackled Payne Haas one-on-one. He's bigger than Payne Haas.
Yeah, he is, yeah.
Now, do not get me wrong. It's Payne Haas.
Yeah.
But in terms of size, we've got a big one.
This is like...
He's huge.
It's one of the things that like really, really frustrates me when you see Payne Haas and Adam Fanua-Blake and Tarpany and Tino, and they're these enormous blokes with great motors, and then we get Tukes, who is like, I don't know, can't last more than 11 minutes. Royce Hunt has to play 25 minutes across 3 stints. Toby, has a hit up and he's gassed, and Hamlin-Uele plays 1 game and needs 4 off.
Yeah, look.
I don't get it.
Hey, the one thing we don't lack this year is size.
Yeah.
We haven't had it for a long time. I thought Tom looked great off the bench.
Yes.
Toby looked great starting. So I think that is the way forward to go.
Yeah, look, with Tom, we said it on the show last week, I think, that it just looked like he needed a breather. Yeah. Whether it was a game off, reduced minutes, definitely not a game at the Jets. Tom's above that at the moment. But he came off the bench. He didn't have to take the brute runs into Jensen. Carrigan played 80 minutes.
Yeah, well, there you go.
But he didn't take those initial contact. He was getting like your Marty Powers of the world.
Yeah.
So
you know what he did do this week? He taped his head.
Yes.
Now I don't think that's a coincidence either. Mm-hmm. Let's keep that on.
Yeah, look, I love Tom.
Yeah, we all
absolutely love Tom.
Another one we love, Nicho Hynes. There's been a fair bit of conjecture about his, below par origin. And look, I defended, not that he needs defending, but I was pretty quick to say to other people, shut your mouths the other night. 3rd or 4th string, he picked down to 12. It wasn't Nicho's fault New South Wales lost. But
I had a little bit of fun stirring fan bases up. It was no one's fault that they lost apart from Joseph Swaley.
And look, the thinking was that last year Nicho played a bad 7 minutes and was terrible for the Sharks. He's played a pretty average 75 because he had that try assist. He had a couple of good kicks. He did some good things. But on the balanced play, he probably had a dud game. Everyone's worried that, he had the week off this week, so he didn't get to roll real quick. He didn't get to enjoy the win. What's he going to be like? I think Nicho Hynes is a grown man and a professional footballer. If he doesn't go out there and have a good game against the Finns, well, what do you do then? And I think he will. I think last year was an aberration and he got crucified unfairly because Brad Fittler is an absolute of a coach. This time, he just got outplayed. He's played badly before and come back and won a Dally M. No worries for me.
Yeah, I will be concerned if on Thursday night he's in this shell and then he comes out and says, Origin rattled me.
That would suck.
That's when I'm turning around and going, right, where can we ship him to?
And look, if he comes out and his calf isn't 100%, I'm not playing him on Thursday night.
No, that's the thing as well. If he's got tightness this week at training, Atkinson and Trindle can get a job done.
That's what killed him against Penrith. It wasn't the Origin stuff, although I made that joke. The fact was he wasn't fit. He played because he wanted to play Origin. I maintain he wasn't 100% in Origin either. So I think we'll see the best in Nicho Hynes.
Yeah, look, and this is a big game as well because the Finns have been up and down. We owe them.
We've never beaten them.
We're a better team than them. So we need him in. We need to be rolling. I'm confident that he will come back. Book him in for a man of the match. Speaking of rolling, the Newtown Jets. 6 wins on the trot?
Yeah, 5, 6, 7. It's been so many I'm getting bored. They've won their last 5 at least. I know that for a fact. They went out and rolled the pretty handy forward pack for the Roosters. They were missing some players. Do not get me wrong. Liam Ison.
Yeah, he's a star in the
Sam Stone Street's a cheat code. Jesse Colquhoun has looked like a weapon.
He's too good for that.
There are some fantastic signs there.
I mean, even Jaden Beryl. Right? And I know Beryl's never played an NRL game, but I think he's one of them guys who
probably should.
He's way too good for cup level, but no one has ever wanted to take a punt on him to give him that first grade debut. I'm really shocked last year he didn't get a game or two towards the back end of the year for us. I'll be really shocked if he doesn't get a game or two at the back end this year as well. I know Brayley loves his Iron Man award, but whatever. We've got some really, really good players in there. Now, I saw someone say that if we don't give Liam Easton a contract, someone's going to snap him up. Signed a 3-year deal with Cronulla. He ain't going nowhere.
Nor should he.
No. He is a tremendous talent. I would be upgrading that to a top 30 spot next year.
Yes, big time.
Riley Pollard goes into the top 30 next year, I found out. If Liam Eason's not in there, he should be. If Chris Vaiella is not in the top 30 next year, he should be.
Some good talents. Make sure they're on New South Wales Rugby League.tv this week.
You get a full rundown of all our players on Fins Up this week as well. Make sure you check it out. Link will be in the
description.
Dan,
talk to me, Terry.
Some top sport tips. Now, each round, Dan and I are tipping. For every game we get wrong, we are adding $1 into the kitty. For every Sharks game we tip correct, we get 2 points. For every Sharks game we tip incorrect,
$2.
We have to throw $2 into the kitty as well. I can tell you that I have a 3-point lead in this challenge that you and I have. Well, I haven't rounded up the points or the money. I'll shoot that through tomorrow morning to us.
Perfect.
We'll try and get an updated...
The money which our great mate Tristan from Top Sports said he will match.
We're going to try and get the fans.
It's going to be a good kitty.
And also, don't forget, with the big one between you and I as well, the winner of the tipping competition gets a free meal courtesy of the other person. It's going to be a great...
Romance.
It'll be a great day out. Now, let's tip. I feel in the last couple of weeks you've tried to tip against games that I have just for a bit of fun.
Yep. I'm going to tip first.
Tip with your head in your heart this week, Dan. Tip with your head in your heart. Apart from this game,
Thursday night
at the Holy Grail at Shark Park, best stadium in the world.
Undisputedly.
The Sharks are taking on the Dolphins. Now, you and I have the ritual that we have. We flip it around when they lose. So we won't even need to get into this now. I am taking the Dolphins on a jinx.
I'm taking Cronulla because we spell fins correctly.
Correct. Friday, 6 o'clock. If ever there was a Friday at 6 o'clock that maybe didn't deserve it, it could be this one down in the nation's capital where
Canberra fun.
The Canberra Raiders sneakily in 5th or 6th spot in the top 8 up against the North Queensland Cowboys, who suck.
They do. They got some good in them, but it's sandwiched between some terrible and some even worse.
Man, if ever a team can just cop 40 and it just looks so easy, it's the Cowboys, man.
Which is why I'm tipping Canberra.
I am tipping Canberra as well. I am not picking the Cowboys.
No.
You cannot force me to do that.
Stop dropping balls on people's faces, Chad.
No. Friday night, Suncorp Stadium, the Brisbane Broncos up against the South Sydney Rabbitohs. Now, I called it on the couch last week that the Rabbitohs would bounce back against the Titans.
Yep.
They're staying in Queensland this week.
Oh, gotcha. It's good. Clever.
I think they're going to do the Broncos.
I won't go that far, but I'm looking forward to this game. I think Latrell's got a bee under his bonnet, which is when he plays his best football. Cody Walker looked good. Isn't it a shock when your best players play well?
The Walker-White combination.
1-0. What have we been saying all year? I think Brisbane bounce back from Cronulla and win at home. But I'll tell you what, if this is down Acor Stadium, maybe the Bunnies do get them. This will be one to watch.
I am picking a Latrell special in this game. 3 o'clock, Saturday afternoon. In the sunshine of Leichhardt Oval.
If you have anything else to do, do it. Do not watch this game. It's the Tigers hosting the Titans. Now, the Tigers are officially last. It's taken a lot longer than I thought it would, but they're last.
Found their form real quick.
But they go back to Leichhardt, and this is what turned their first game around.
It did. Look, Appy's got to go out and eat some horrible chili and be been himself inside out, because it's all they got this season. I don't know who's back for the Titans, because it could be anybody on any given time.
They were gross.
They were, but Dave Fafita, until he got stirred up and killed Cody Walker like 7 times in a row. That's why I'm going to tip against the Tigers, just this one.
Look, I say that they were gross. The Tigers copped 44
You're kidding
points.
me? Yeah, and a half of football.
I'm not even joking when I say this, right? Because I moved house during the week, and I was knackered on Friday night. I was absolutely done. And I got to half time and I saw, what's the ginger guy's name? Alex Seyfarth score his second try. And it's 14-12, and I thought the Tigers are up for this. So much so, I need to go to sleep.
Yep.
I woke up and checked the score and saw 56-14, and I had to go back and watch the game just to laugh.
Yeah, it was crazy. Which is why I'm going the Titans.
God. Leichhardt, 3 o'clock.
Yep.
Give me the Tigers.
Sweet. On to better games, huh?
On to better games. 5:30 kickoff here, 7:30 in New Zealand.
Game of the round. Warriors against the Storm.
Remember what happened last time?
No.
On the bell.
Oh, yeah.
Xavier Coates
scored.
Game of the millennium. I'm expecting something.
Still don't know if Sean Johnson's going to be back, but the Warriors looked at...
They don't need him. Tamari Martin's killing everyone.
Completely different team with all their troops back. Fanua Blake was awesome. Mitch Barnett has got to play Origin. Shanziku Clockstar was awesome.
Freak.
Dallin Martini's a Lesniak. The minute he got that perm, he's just like one of my favourite players. Up against the Storm, who, they're just rolling. They're just rolling and rolling and rolling.
Will they roll on to victory, though?
No, I'm going to pick the Warriors at home.
Well, me too, actually.
Really?
Yeah,
nice one.
Yeah, it was.
7:30, Saturday night, the Parramatta Eels go back to Combank Stadium and take on the Sydney Roosters. Now, Parramatta, really good against Cronulla. Moses was awful against the Dogs. Now, if that was the kind of game that Nico Hines has had, Hines would have been crucified. Moses stunk.
Yep, it was terrible.
He looked like a guy who had been out for 14 weeks. I think he got his early puppy energy out last week, and you could tell that he was just a little bit off. And that's probably taken away from the Dogs as well, who I thought were the better team in that game. But the Roosters, they're fresh. They've had a bye. They're last start losers. I think they're going to win.
Yeah, I think the Roosters is going to bounce back from their, a week off. Although, the bye's been win and loss. I'll do the stats later in the year.
I'm going to take the Roosters.
Yeah, I'm going to take the Roosters too.
Yeah. Sunday, 2:00, the Manly Warringah Seagulls take on the Dragons. Now, both teams are in different form. Mm-hmm. And the last time they met, both teams were in different form. And the Dragons got away with the win down in Wynn Stadium. Yep. It's over at Four Pines Park in Brookvale. Manly were okay against Penrith. The Dragons were red hot. I think they've turned it around. I'm going to pick the Dragons.
I'll go Manly because we've got to go a few different.
Yeah.
Aloiai should play. I hope he does. Aloiai won't play, which I think helps Manly too. Mm-hmm. I think Brookvale, you can't lose to the Dragons twice in a season.
Oh, God. Don't get any better for the Knights. 4:00, McDonald Jones Stadium. The Newcastle Knights are taking on the Penrith Panthers. Now, the Knights did a lot better against Melbourne than I thought they would. Mm-hmm. I think Melbourne just looked tired and thought, we're going to win this game regardless. You ain't going to get that with Penrith.
No.
Penrith are hungry. They're within striking distance of first. Cronulla have a tricky game.
Yep.
Melbourne have a tricky game.
Very difficult.
If both teams drop points, Penrith go first. And if Penrith go first,
See you later.
That's it. They roll them for the rest of the year. They're going to keep pressure on. For Newcastle as well, you're at that point of the year where you're like, if they lose this game, do you rush Ponga back?
Probably. Might have to. And I think that's a question that they're going to have to answer because I think Penrith flog them up there.
God. I mean, the last time they were up there, the Dogs flogged them.
Penrith are better than the Dogs.
Yeah, I'm picking Penrith. Hey everyone, thank you for tuning in to another episode of Rugby League Outlaws brought to you by our good friends at Top Sport. Don't forget to like and subscribe where you can. If you're watching on the YouTube show, please give us a like. It helps the algorithm. It promotes us to everybody else where they're watching.
If you got to suffer, everyone should.
Yeah, that's right. Keep your comments coming in. We absolutely love them. If you see us out in public, come say hello to us. It was nice. It was nice to hear that.
It's good to feel loved.
It's great. I love rugby league.